Today's lesson is chapter 1.1, Solving Simple Equations, and this is your first section in the book. So it's kind of nice to actually have something in the book now, and you've got something that you can read if you need more clarification. And I wish that it was this easy, but it's not quite. But in case you don't know, 1 plus 2 is 3, just so you know. All right, so just some vocabulary to start. We've got a linear equation in one variable. What that is an equation that can be written in the form ax plus by equals 0, where a and b are constants and a doesn't equal 0. Now that's getting really, really complicated. And we have to give that definition because that really is the definition of what it is. But examples, it's 2x plus 5 equals 0. It's 3y plus 10 equals 0. Okay? And they can be written like that. It could be 2x plus 5 equals 3. But if I subtract 3 from both sides, I get 2x plus 2 equals 0. So even this is still in the form of a line. Okay, it's something that has an x in it, or a y, or a variable. Okay? Inverse operations are two operations that undo each other, like addition and subtraction. So for example, if I have x plus 3 equals 4, and I'm trying to get x by itself, I look here and I see that 3 is being added. So in order to undo that 3, I subtract it, and x would equal 1. Okay, so multiplication undoes division, division undoes multiplication, and then addition and subtraction also undo each other. Okay, finally, equivalent equations are equations that have the same solutions. Okay, so if x equals, oh, what I just did, I erased it. It was x equals 1. If I have another equation and I figure it out and x equals 1, then that means that those two equations are equivalent. Okay, this is in your book, so you don't need to write this down. However, you do need to know mostly these two: addition property of equality and subtraction property of equality. And basically what they're saying, if a equals b, then a plus c equals b plus c. And if a equals b, then a minus c equals b minus c. Now I've got a picture of a scale right here, and this is what I always think of. I think of this equal sign as being the middle of the scale. So my scale's like this, it has to stay balanced. So if I add something to this side, then I have to add the same thing to this side for it to balance. And just like if I subtract something from this side, I have to subtract it from this side to keep it balanced. And that's what the addition property of equality and the subtraction property of equality mean. And substitution. If a and b are equal to each other, then you can substitute them in any equation or expression. Okay, so for example, you guys know how to do this. It's the justify each step that you probably don't know. All right, so right here, I'm trying to get x by itself, and in order to do that, I need to undo this negative 3. So it's being subtracted. So to undo it, I add 3 to both sides, and I get x equals negative 2. And I did this by using the subtraction property, the addition property of equality. So that's what I would write down. This is the addition property of equality. All right, so let's go over here. I'm trying to get y by itself. I subtract 2.8 from both sides. Now, I don't know what that is. Let me check really quick on my calculator. I've got 0.9 minus 2.8 is negative 1.9 equals y. Well, what did I do here to undo this plus 2.8? Well, I subtracted. So I used the subtraction property of equality. I know it's kind of a real fancy schmancy way of just saying, well, I just undid it. That's really what it is. Okay, so now I want you guys to try these. Let me erase so you can see. And again, I'm more concerned that you know the properties than that you can actually do the problem. But go ahead and pause. All right, so for this one, I need to get rid of this plus 3, so I'm going to subtract, and I get n equals negative 10. And this is, because I subtracted, this is the subtraction property. Maybe I should write this out. Subtraction property of equality. Okay, this one I add 1/3 to both sides, and I get g equals negative 1/3. And this is because I added, this is the addition property of equality. And then finally, over here, I subtract 3.9 from both sides. P equals negative 10.4. And this is the, I'm going to just abbreviate. This is the subtraction property of equality. All right, so if there's an addition and a subtraction one, there's going to be multiplication and division. So this is exactly what this is. So what this is saying is, if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. And if these two equal each other, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. And again, we have that scale. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side so that they'll equal themselves out. Okay, we're going to talk about that more in the next video.